Shout out to ODD. I shout out to ODD. But it's like right now, like, why the fuck is everyone obsessed with dinosaurs and astronauts? I mean, I kind of know. I kind of think I know why. It's selling two of the biggest lies: evolution and space travel. Like they're both lies. And so you make these epic things that make and want to know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be a paleontologist my whole childhood. I would study and study the dinosaurs and study the dinosaurs, and I would read my astronomy books. I understood pulsars and white dwarves and red giants and how it all like, dude, I get it. Like I'm not ignorant to any of this shit. It's like someone just called me a fool. Well, now you're banned for life. I hope you had fun in your brief time with the Bears. It's the best time you've ever had, and you'll never have it again. Get the fuck out of here. It's yeah, I mean evolution is a lie. It's a lie. There's adaptation. Big time. But there's been no proof of evolution. None. And it was in it was pushed by a eugenicist who married his first cousin and was the product of incest, and then, his whole family was all incest. The Darwins were some of the richest people in all of Europe. And they were fucking insane. And they're responsible for some of the worst ideas ever pushed on humanity. Ever. It's, the Darwins, man, they're bad, bad, bad people. You ever do a deep dive on the Darwins? Charles Darwin, his dad, his kids, their kids, they make the fucking Rothschilds look like the Joneses next door. They're fucking psychos, dude. And they have so much power and money and like influence. It's insanity. We were never apes? No. And common ancestry. You don't think I know about evolution? Try and explain how the human eye came from trial and error from sexual selection. I understand the size of eyebrows. I understand the length of legs or human height or weight or, different, skin tone based on vitamin D deficiencies and getting rickets. No. Is it rickets? And skin cancer rates. All that shit's all fine. That's called adaptation. You don't develop the human eye. You don't have random adaptation, because the way evolution is talked about, it's that, you have a kid and there's like one anomaly that happens, like that there's, guys, what's the word I'm looking for? It's mutation, right? And so if that mutation is advantageous, it stays and it allows that person to have more children with that adaptation, making it's almost like profitable, And if it isn't advantageous, you die, and that is then like, it doesn't work. It's in the scrapyard. That's all well and good with like, when you're looking at things of the body that there's a gradual increase based on the environmental surroundings, like height. The pygmies are the smallest people in the world, and the Northern Europeans are the tallest people in the world. And that one argument that I actually think is probably valid is because height would keep your organs, your vitals away from permafrost. So if you're in a place that has permafrost 9 months a year, no, permafrost is permanent, so that doesn't make sense. But if you're in a place where the ground is really, really cold all the time, like height would actually give you an advantage. And if you're in a place that's always warm, that's why like sub-Saharan Africans have wide nostrils, because the air is already warm and moist. And in Northern Europe, you have tight nostrils because the air is cold and dry, and you need the most amount of surface area you can to warm and moisten the air before they hit the lungs. And so with every generation getting wider noses in sub-Saharan Africa, it would be a benefit because you would get more oxygen. That's one of the reasons why Kenyans are so good at distance running, because you can literally over time, you get more air. And so that shit's all adaptation. But to get a fin on your back, there's no gradual way to do that. Like if you're a species that is finding their way into the water or out of the water, you don't have like a bump on your back. It's an adaptation. And think about how few people are born with like anything that looks like a fin randomly, and that helps you in any way. It would make you repulsive to women. Women wouldn't have sex with you. You'd have no children, right? So you can't gradually get a dorsal fin. You can't gradually get an eyeball. Like you don't get like these spherical grapes in your skull like that. So it would be a process. And to develop the cortex and all that shit, at no point is there an advantage to that. Like no one's having more kids because they have like the start of an eye on their head. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Like people think that I'm retarded for thinking that, but in reality, they're so retarded, they can't think through how it works. And no, but here's the thing. You can put exponential, like unlimited time can pass. Unlimited time. Unlimited. So when people say, yeah, but in billions of years, you'll get the dorsal fin. You never will. Because the in-between stages would be seen as repulsive to anybody that wants to breed with them. Unless you have a fucking fin, that doesn't help at all with swimming. You look like the hunchback of Notre Dickface, right? And so you're just deformed. You can't gradually get a fin. You can get thicker eyebrows because it helps sweat from entering your eye. And if you're hunting and you have a slight advantage, I get all that. Tons of times pass. You get more hair on your body if you're Armenian. You're trying to sell BMWs in West Hollywood. Yeah. Web feet when would happen. No evidence of true evolution. There's none. There's zero. There's zero evolution. Or there's zero evidence of evolution. None. Zero. This is nonsense, says Nelson. Well, guess what? You don't have to listen anymore. Ever again. I'll get back to 2,000 people. Yeah, no evidence of evolution. There is no evidence. And that drives people insane because their whole worldview is that it's a slow build from single cell. Here's more evidence that it never happened. We've never witnessed it ever. We've witnessed bacteria adapt to antiseptics or, medicine and stuff, but we've never witnessed bacteria become something else. We've never witnessed a species become a new species. We've never witnessed a single cell become a multi-cell. We can't recreate it in a lab. We can't witness it in nature, and it makes no logical sense. How the fuck do people believe this? Antibiotics, yeah. We haven't witnessed millions of years going by. No shit, we can't. Yeah, but you would see it now. So, okay, if it really does happen gradually, right? The lifespan of a fruit fly or the lifespan of bacteria is so short that you can witness it. And if you can't witness it and you can't recreate it, and it's just a theory that makes no sense, how is that science? It isn't science. By the way, guys, it's currently being debunked by science. You guys think that I'm just this random wacko, right? Major scientists are debunking this as we speak. It makes no sense. It's fucking wizardry, dude. It makes no sense. Like, how does a cell develop? How do you develop mitochondria? How do you go from single cell to multi-cell? How do you get the first They used to say primordial soup was struck by lightning, and this soup, amino acids came out of nothing. And now that's seen as so embarrassing that there's no fossil record of any of this. There's no in-between. Do you know we have one tooth of the Nebraska man or whatever? There's no in-between. There's no evidence whatsoever that humans used to be anything else. Nothing. None. Someone just said dogs. I don't know what that means. What does dogs mean? The tailbone is evidence. No, it isn't. The tailbone is not evidence. That's narrative. You're making evidence in your mind. It's the same as the whales with the appendages of thigh bones showing that's all been debunked. Those bones help with mating. Those bones are part of mating. Most of the big evidences of evolution have all been debunked. Like the ones that you're thinking of, really look into it. See, the tailbone makes absolute sense for the way you are. It's not a tail. It's not a former tail. It makes total sense. When people say, well, we share so much DNA with the fucking banana. So what if that's the clay that makes life? Like, why wouldn't we share that? Like, concrete shares a lot of the same properties as bricks. This brick here, this brick there, no fucking shit. It's all DNA. That doesn't disprove anything. What about pygmies? That doesn't mean that's adaptation. It's just like dogs. Like, dogs can have all these different types of dog. That doesn't make them a new species. It never has. Never has. And never will. 98, same DNA as monkey. Yeah, I know. That proves. Guys, can people not logically do that? That's like saying, okay, a wooden boat is 98% the same material as a wooden house. It's the same. It's related. What the fuck are you talking about? Having similar building blocks doesn't mean anything. Like, that doesn't mean shit. Wisdom teeth doesn't prove anything. Like, okay, the appendix. We used to eat more fucking rocks and shit, and like really, it's stuff that was harder to digest. So that's an appendage from a different time with a different diet. Man, people that act like you're stupid because people will point out the dumbest arguments. Like, they'll be like, and like, mockery is the ultimate sign that someone really doesn't have an argument. Mockery. They're going, oh, ha ha ha, you're so dumb. Then please enlighten me. Some of the smartest people in the world right now are like, yeah, evolution's total bullshit. What do you got? The eye was created. There is no one who can explain how the human eye came from evolution. But yet you mock me. You mock people like me and say like, oh, you're so dumb. Then by all means explain how sexual selection created the human eye. You can't in a million years. No one can. There is no way to explain that. And so when you have all this evidence that there's no way to explain it, none. It's like, why the fuck am I the idiot for pointing that out? Eyes are little galaxies. Well, that's a whole... Someone wrote, donate more money. They're trying to mock me. And now you're banned for life. Adaptation isn't evolution. Very true. Adaptation is real. Adaptation's very real. But that isn't evolution. That's not the origin of life in the creation of man. It's not adaptation. There is no... And science holds on. Nebraska man is one tooth. And they created this whole thing about them. It's such horseshit. There's no fossil record that makes any sense. None. Do you know that fossils are rock? Like, there's no way to even carbon-14 date that or whatever the fuck that is. It's bullshit. Evolution is a religion, 100%.